Welcome back, focused learners. Today, we're cracking open WASSCE Biology 2026, Question 4. If you're gearing up for WAEC, JAMB, or NECO exams, well, you are exactly where you need to be. This explainer is powered by QandAHelp.com, which is basically your ultimate past question library. Okay, let's dive right into this.
We're jumping straight into the hot seat. Take a look at the question. It asks, Commensalism is a relationship in which A. Both partners lose because they harm each other, B. One partner benefits and the other loses, C. One partner benefits and the other neither loses nor benefits, or D. Each of the two organisms benefits. You know, when you're sitting in that exam hall, ecology questions can quickly turn into a confusing word salad, right? The stakes are high, but we're going to fix that confusion right now.
Before we even attempt to look at those options again, I want to give you the ultimate cheat code for decoding any ecology question. It's the +-0 ecological framework. Think of it as a mathematical key for biology. A plus sign? That means an organism gets a benefit, like food or shelter. A minus sign means an organism loses or is harmed, like losing blood or getting injured. And a 0? That means the organism is completely unaffected. It literally does not care. Once you master this simple 3-symbol code, identifying these relationships becomes incredibly easy.
Let's apply our new cheat code to the star of today's explainer, commensalism. We represent this specific relationship as +/0. Organism 1 gets a plus, meaning it benefits from the interaction. Organism 2 gets a 0, meaning it's totally unaffected. So the crucial point here is that the second organism absolutely does not lose anything, nor does it gain anything. It remains completely neutral to the whole situation. Let's step away from the abstract biology textbook for a second and look at a highly relatable human analogy. Imagine an African student walking home from school in the pouring rain. They spot another person walking the exact same way with a large, wide umbrella. The student quickly and quietly steps under the edge of it. The student gets a massive plus. They stay dry. But the umbrella owner? As long as they aren't getting bumped or crowded, they're completely unaffected. They get a 0. That right there is your perfect +0 dynamic.
Now let's take that exact same logic back out into the wild. Have you ever seen a cattle egret walking right alongside a massive grazing cow? As the cattle stump through the tall grass, they stir up all sorts of tasty hidden insects. The egret just easily snatches them up for a free meal. The egret gets a huge plus. But the cow, it's just walking and eating grass. It doesn't get hurt by the bird, and it doesn't get any help from the bird either. It gets a 0. And this brilliantly illustrates how commensalism works in nature. One wins, and the other just goes about its day.
Armed with our exact blueprint, let's play the elimination game and ruthlessly cross out the wrong answers from our exam question. Look at option A. Both partners lose because they harm each other. Applying our new rule, that'd be a --. A double negative indicates intense competition, where both organisms are fighting over the same scarce resources and hurting each other in the process. That completely violates our blueprint. Option A is definitively out.
Moving right along to option B. One partner benefits and the other loses. Using our symbols, this is a +-— relationship. One organism is thriving and the other is paying a heavy price. This is the classic definition of parasitism, where a parasite benefits while the host is actively harmed. Since we know commensalism demands a neutral 0, option B is crossed right off the list.
What about option D? Each of the two organisms benefits. A double win. That is a ++ relationship. When both parties win, ecologists call that mutualism. It's a fantastic dynamic in nature, but unfortunately, it lacks that neutral 0 factor we absolutely need to satisfy commensalism. Option D is completely off the table. By the process of elimination, this leaves us with option C. One partner benefits and the other neither loses nor benefits. Let's look at the wording really closely here. One benefits, there's our plus. The other neither loses nor benefits. Boom, there's our solid 0. Option C perfectly mirrors the framework we established at the start. We can confidently lock in option C as the absolute truth. To make sure you're fully prepared for whatever variations the exam might throw at you, let's move to this matrix and see how this builds a complete picture of all the major ecological relationships. We've got everything from the double win of mutualism to the double loss of competition. I highly recommend taking a physical or mental screenshot of this cheat sheet right now. If you know this 4-row matrix, you're practically bulletproof on this topic. Now, I don't just want you passively listening. I want to test your active recall. Let's kick off a rapid-fire lightning round to solidify your newfound expertise. Ready? Question 1. A remora fish attaches itself to a shark to eat leftover scraps of food from the shark's meals. The shark is entirely unaffected by the little fish hanging on.
Based on our framework, is this parasitism, commensalism, competition, or mutualism? If you quickly answered commensalism, you absolutely nailed it. The remorse gets a clear plus because it gets a free meal and a free ride through the ocean. The shark gets a 0 because it isn't bothered or hindered at all. Knowing your symbols makes solving a scenario like this an absolute breeze.
Let's keep the momentum going. Lightning round, question 2. Which ecological relationship is correctly represented by the symbols +/+? Think back to our screenshot-worthy master matrix. When both organisms get a plus, what exact term do we use for that?
It's mutualism. A double positive means a double benefit. See how easily you can identify these relationships now? When you strip away the confusing exam vocabulary and just look at the mathematical symbols, the underlying biology becomes incredibly straightforward and easy to navigate.
All right, final question of the lightning round. A tick feeds on the blood of a family dog. Which pair of symbols accurately represents this relationship? Is it A, ++, B, +0, C, +-, or D, --? Now, what's really interesting about this specific slide is that it tests your ability to spot the negative impact side of the framework, which is exactly where a lot of students actually slip up.
The correct answer is C, +-. The tick is getting a highly nutritious free meal, so it gets a huge plus. But the poor dog is losing blood, risking disease, and getting incredibly itchy, so it definitely gets a minus. Because one is benefiting and the other is actively harmed, we know for a fact this is parasitism, not commensalism. Making that sharp distinction between the harmless neutrality of a 0 and the active harm of a minus is key to acing these ecology questions.
To wrap up this explainer, burn into your memory that commensalism is always your +0 relationship. One companion benefits, the other stays perfectly neutral. For our WASSCE question today, the correct answer is firmly option C. If you want to dive deeper, practice more active recall, and prepare effectively for your upcoming WAEC, JAMB, or NECO exams, head directly over to QandAHelp.com for more check-pass questions and tools just like this. And before you log off today, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. Look out your window and ask yourself, how many invisible +0 relationships are happening right now, in your own backyard, completely unnoticed by you? Keep observing, stay focused on your learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.